Alright, looks like it's time. Let me switch to the correct stream here. This should be it. And there we have it. Everything looks right. Alright, let them know that they can start. We'll see them do their map real quick, I'm sure. So right now it looks like we're playing on Starkiller Base. Go ahead and kill my Mega Man music for now. We just needed a quick intro there. Didn't take too long. Only took about 3 minutes to get everything set up, like I had told them. Things move quick here. Let them know they can start whenever they're ready. Alright, they know it. Alright, so let's see what it is that they're going to be... Looks like they flipped the map so that Ripa has a different setup. Now taking predominantly this area over here, as opposed to leaving Luke with the area down here, depending on the setup of the map. So we'll see what happens when they get going. I will put on a little bit of music here in a bit. Alright, so they have selected their cards, or at least have brought them up. So right now we're looking at Breakthrough, Sabotage, and Intercept, Major, Advanced, and Disarray. Ooh, none of that looks fun. Well, maybe Major. Then we have Rapid, Hostile, and Clear. And I myself have some green tea, and we're good to go. So it looks as though they're going to have some serious choices here, so what do you want to do? Breakthrough, Disarray actually does work pretty well, but it's going to be chaotic for both sides. Intercept and Sabotage works probably better for both Major and Advanced. Rapid Reinforcements does throw things into, you know, make things a little different and difficult. So we will find out. Looks as though they are currently, I guess, debating or frozen or one of the above. Who knows? Just making sure that I can see the cards. Because we have been known to have some errors here with TTS. So we're going to have Luke relog real quick. That should hopefully fix the issue that he's having where he's not seeing it. Having to help out these guys, as apparently they're having a little bit of issues technically. Luke unable to get the cards to populate on his end. Of course, Blue could always just eliminate for him. Make sure I let them know that. Well, they should be getting going here shortly, and we should be okay once they get going. As you can see here, that is what the options are. I'll take a quick look at the map here. You can see that we are on Starkiller Base. They did flip the side so that Ripa has the, I guess you want to call it the former red side up here. I believe they flipped it. Looks like they might not have. I think they did, though. Pretty sure he flipped it. Alright, so while they get that all set up and squared away, let's go ahead and cover the lists. My cat's jumping all over the place. Let's start with... Let's start over here with Ripa's list. So we have Leia. She has Esteemed Leader. You have Han Solo with Esteemed Leader and Sims. You have Chewie with Tenacity and Stims, because obviously you want to get Chewie into combat as quick as possible. Then you have a whole lot of Z6s, 4 Z6s, and a singular naked trooper. Then we have 3 snipers, as you can see here, 11 activations total. Each of these snipers has a sniper rifle, obviously, recon, and hunter. So they can really get going in different places because they already start with Scout 2, so they get a Speed 2 move once they deploy. So now with recon, they can get a Speed 3 move anywhere they so choose to. So it's going to be pretty advantageous for Ripa to not allow advanced positioning, because then he's effectively giving up his recon advantage to Luke. So anything's possible there. I still think that it kind of depends. With that said, we'll take a look at Luke's list. Luke has Veers here with improvised orders as well as strict orders, so he's playing the suppression negation game. We have a set of Stormtroopers with recon, and another 1, 2, 3, 4 Stormtroopers with DLTs. Then we have a Stormtrooper, or a Snowtrooper set here, with a flamethrower, frag grenades, and recon. Get them a little bit closer right off the get-go. We have Boba Fett here with stims, recon, and hunter. And then we have 3 sets of just plain snipers. That said, those are both the lists. We're waiting for Luke to pull back in and see if he can't see the cards. Hopefully he fixed it this time. If not, we can work around it. Alright. Anyway, so looking at the lists, while we wait for them to, I guess, start going through their stuff, I have a train coming in, so I will have to mute here momentarily. Or not, that works too. We have Hunter on snipers. Oh, there's the train. Alright, so we have Hunter on snipers, and as I've played it in my games, I'm not exactly a fan of the Hunter on snipers. I thought it was a good use originally, but now that I've used it in a couple of my single limb or in all of my single limb matches, as well as my group stages, I think that the Hunter on snipers is 18 points wasted. In this list, what you could do is effectively put Hunter on Chewie, Han, and Leia for an even point swap. And does Leia have a slot for it? Does she? What's the slot look like? It is, yeah, so Leia can get it. Because she currently has, yeah, Steam Leader's a leadership thing. So yeah, you can have Hunter on all 3 of these characters, which would probably be better suited. I feel that Hunter really belongs on hero units, because they're mostly targeting other heroes, if you wanted to keep it at all. Alternatively, oh wow, they selected fast. I didn't even see it happening. Alright, so they went with Breakthrough, Advanced, and Rapid Reinforcements. So Rapid Reinforcements was one of the standard ones. It looks like they only vetoed just the singular, what was it, the first deployment. So that was quick, actually. So we're going to go ahead and update our little notification thing down here in the bottom corner. Update this guy, because it is now going to be Star Killer, Breakthrough, Advanced, and Rapid. Alright. And we got more room, actually. There we go. That should fill it up nicely. Well, maybe not. I tried. So we'll just do that. We'll send this guy back up. And then we will go back to this. That should pull it back up, and we'll watch them deploy here. So yeah, everyone is going to be able to deploy, and then everyone gets a Scout 1 move here, regardless of what you have. So it will add up along with your other units. So you're looking to get basically a bunch of your units into the other people's deployment zones while denying them getting into yours. That's kind of the name of the game for Breakthrough. This is going to really benefit very fast, very mobile units like Boba Fett, and it will benefit the Snowtroopers as well, because they definitely want to be always moving. As for Stormtroopers, yeah, they can sit back and fire and hold things off. So I think this will be interesting, because it really does force Ripa to have to make pushes into Imperial ranges. And it's really not good, because obviously the DLT outranges the Z6 all day and night, and so you're going to have issues where you're going to get a lot of things cut down as it's trying to move into the deployment zone. However, you're going to have some nice little crossways here where you can easily get things from pretty much this corner of the deployment zone into this corner of the deployment zone, much easier than going for anything on this back side of the L here or here. So I think the majority of the fighting is likely going to be across this diagonal area here. It's what we'll likely see. But we are, in the meantime, going to see them all pretty much move up, take some somewhat defensive positioning, as well as get in positions to hopefully help them cross as well. So we already commented about the Hunter on the snipers of Ripas. I also think that maybe the Recon might also be better spent elsewhere, because the Hunter, yeah, you could easily transfer it over to all the heroes, and that would not be terrible. You could also use it to buy a medic, which would be great to help sustain Chewie or Han. And then as well as the Recon, well, it's not terrible, but you can find other uses for it as well. As far as Luke's list, it is a very, 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 I don't want to say optimized, but very normal, I guess. Very generic to the extreme, I suppose. I can't really come up with a good term for it, but it is all stuff that currently is released. It's all focused on core and snipers with Boba Fett and Veers. So it's not out of the ordinary. It's basically taking the normalities and looking at it outside of the box, I think. It's really not a good way to describe just how, like, he has taken what you would normally find as vanilla and boring and brought it to an extreme. So it's really interesting to see how this is just all core and then little other things here and there to fill out what you can't get with core. Whereas we see Ripa going with a whole lot of sniper upgrades, as well as going heavy in the heroes. So it'll be interesting, especially with all the Z6s. We do have this set of Z6s held in reserve for rapid reinforcement, as well as this set of DLT Stormtroopers held in reserve for the rapid reinforcement deployment. So it looks as though the Snowtroopers are going to get deployed and marched up as well. They already have Recon, so they're going to get a move 2 right off the bat. So they could effectively get pretty much almost up against this wall at the very beginning. So it'll be very good placement for them. Little bit of choppiness from Luke here. Not too big of a deal, though. Trying to get up and over this wall might not actually happen, though, just because of the way that the tool is going to work and where it is located. Not a big deal at all. We already see the Naked Troopers start to move out, as well as the Z6 squad be spread way out to try and get advantage of taking cover behind some buildings and everything else. That said, I don't think that these guys are going to be really exposed to anything, because they're going to have cover all the way up to this wall. Things would have to come around here into these bags in order to see them. However, I do think that this is probably a good position for the Snowtroopers, because they can just wheel around and threaten this flank immediately with that flamethrower. That Recon 2 is massive right now, as it's getting them all up against this wall. Next turn, he could wheel here, probably here, with his move, and then immediately start having things in range either this turn or next turn. We'll have to see where everything else goes in the center, but I feel that this Snowtrooper group is going to be a giant linchpin to this whole operation here for Luke. Whereas we're going to see pretty much these three heroes have to work in tandem to help cut down a lot of what's going to come their way, especially Boba Fett. If all three heroes focus on Boba Fett, especially if Chewbacca can get in close combat, it's going to be huge. Alright, and we are seeing a little bit of Brazil love coming from a fellow, you're Brazilian, right, Archeo? But yeah, so getting a little bit of love here for fellow Brazilian teammates. we have quite a few international members of the Legion Discord. Oh my god, they just ripped off the tower. I didn't even know you could do that. That was a thing. Well, already we're destroying terrain. Holy cow. Okay, that was interesting. So, as I was saying, we have a little bit of a, I think it's right now a 50-50 split. I think there's 4 international members and 4 US members currently in the league right now that is left in the single limbs. So that's really awesome that we actually have such a good representation from all over the place, and it's not just dominated by a singular region. It's actually really cool. Alright, so we're seeing Ripa place a DLT or a Z6 squad. Pretty much happy with where it's at after having ripped the roof off that building. And then we're going to see another DLT squad be placed and move forward, likely to be somewhere behind cover here. Likely to counter anything that's going to come out of this area. At some point, it might be worth, well, because these are going to be heavy. So no matter what, you're looking at shooting through some heavy terrain here, which is going to be interesting. I know Finn is from Germany, because I lost to Finn. He is an excellent, excellent player and a great player to talk with and play with. We have 4 US players, but they're all in various regions of the US. I know Kingsley is the West Coast, Orc is the East Coast. I don't know where everyone else is. I believe we have 1 person left from Australia, and I don't know who else is left. But I'm pretty sure we're looking at a 50-50 split. I know it was discussed earlier in the Invader League chat. So quite a bit of diversity coming in here, which is great. It just shows that this game is definitely taking off and is getting some pretty good traction all over the place. I don't know if you guys down in Brazil have a lot of like shops that you can play in locally, or if it's just that there's not enough interest down there and maybe like 40K is a little more predominant, but it seems to be picking up here in the US and slowly taking over from War Machine, I think, is the popular one. But we shall see as time goes on. I think that the IP here is absolutely fantastic, as well as the fact that there's more and more being released monthly for this game, whereas you're starting to see a little bit of slowdown with some other game systems. Alright, so a DLT squad happy up here. Looks like another Z6 squad getting deployed down here. In all honesty, range 3 is going to get you to here. It might not be bad to set up and move some troops into this heavy terrain here, the woods, and just completely block off anything that comes out of this area. Even if you have to throw some people on Overwatch, it might not be or standby, it might not be too terrible, because those snowtroopers are gonna have to round this bend, and when they do, you can light them up. Even though it's gonna be, well, it'll only be light cover with the sandbags. If you're standing in the terrain, it won't be too terrible. Kind of deny the snowtroopers this access point here, as well as anything here, because if you position yourself roughly here, you're looking at range 3 would put you somewhere into these woods, as well as over the end of this table. So it wouldn't be too terrible of a position there. There is good parts that you can lock down fairly easily, and then Luke would have to think on his feet, likely coming around the long way to come out, either behind this building and into this side of the deployment zone, or have to charge through all the Z6s and hope that his red saves are great. So there's some good options for both players, depending on how they want to do it. If Luke wants to play it very, very safe, he could actually sit back and at the very end of the game just throw Boba Fett immediately into the deployment zone. With Boba Fett double moving speed 6, he could easily clear all the way pretty much from anywhere safe into a corner of the deployment zone and be perfectly fine. But we'll see what happens. Both players have a lot of options here, and it's going to be very interesting since everyone's getting at least a Recon 1 move. Alright, so we see another DLT squad going out. Seems that there's a giant push, like I had originally thought here in the center, as well as looking like Ripa's setting up a nice defensive line here to prevent anything from Luke coming across. Ripa will have to think about making some moves himself to get some victory points, other than just getting kill points, which he could be going for, because if it comes down to a tie and nothing's killed, Blue will have the advantage. So we'll see where he deploys his next unit. Likely be another... I don't know, all the Z6 squads are deployed, so it will be either a hero or snipers. I'm thinking you're going to see maybe snipers first? Yeah, it looks like snipers. And you will have to be careful, because you're going to be looking at some... Veers will more than likely have maximum firepower. So you can't obviously be too aggressive with their deployment, but you could be a little risky. However, again, sniper counter game, you don't want them to be exposed or both can get killed. So, obviously keeping one hidden is always the best bet. Looks like he's deploying one over here to get some good lines at anything that's going to come through this area here. Could potentially do the same thing. Well, over here will get you exposed to a lot of things. You could potentially do the same thing here, pushing up, having somebody sit here, and having the other friendly unit hide here, and then do the same reverse thing here, have a sniper sit here, and a unit sit here for cover. So, there's some good options for Luke there, or not Luke, for Ripa there. We'll just see what he does with these snipers. Looks like settling in on a deployment area for the snipers here. Plopping the other one nice and safe behind the hill. Plenty of space with which to maneuver them as needed. Right back into the corner to be even more safe. Alright, snipers done. Looking like it's going back to Luke. Luke still has a DLT squad that he can deploy. Looks like second verse, same as the first. A lot more stuff going to get stacked up here in the center. As it looks like that's going to be his major thrust right out of here and likely directly across up into this unprotected area up here. As it's looking like Ripa has pretty much laid down a good arc of fire on this side of the L. With especially the Snowtroopers already deployed here. It would take a little bit of readjusting to get where he wants to be. However, he could also rely heavily on his red saves and attempt to push through and take out all the rebel troopers with their weaker white saves. We'll have to see what game plan he comes out with. Alright, forward cohering everything just to get them in cover. Not a terrible thing in at least this circumstance. Alright, and then with that is all of the Stormtroopers. Looks like Luke is done with all his core, so now he'll have to go into snipers or other units. Now we're going to see Ripa go ahead and put out either another set of snipers or some heroes. Alright, going with Han Solo. Gonna see him get deployed directly behind this building, giving him complete cover, but also getting him in a position where he can roll out and take out anything that starts to round this bend. Alright, looks like he's happy potentially with where Han Solo is. And off to back to Luke. Looking like he's going to go with a sniper. Just debating where he wants his snipers to go. We are seeing a little bit of choppiness from him, so I wonder if it's a little bit of lag on his end. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Xbox. Yeah, looking like he's debating where to deploy. I think a good lane would potentially be... Well, there's nothing really great over there to see. This would be shooting over heavy. You can potentially put one set of snipers, I guess, here. Another one here. And then another one here, maybe? It's really not as good of sniper placement over here. I think Ripa did a good job putting his units in places where they're not really going to get shot at by snipers, and also really denies good initial placement from the from Luke's snipers here. However, it looks like Luke is indeed moving some of his stuff, his snipers, way forward, being pretty aggressive with them. I wonder what he's planning to do by putting them all the way up here. Unless he's planning to rush with them and just use them as actual units with their standard attack. I mean, that is possible, but it's not something that I'm sure I would want to do. But we don't know. There's probably some rhyme or reason to it. Alright, now we're seeing Chewie get placed directly behind Han Solo, likely to help provide Han Solo with some cover here. We're going to see one of these heroes get pinged for being the bounty. I would likely see it on Han or Chewie, just because that way it really prevents Chewie from really running forward and being a big pain. However, Han is a solid choice. I think Leia is not a good choice to put the bounty on in this list. I think you're better off with Han or Chewie, because that way at least keeps them from being so ready to charge forward with them. Alright, and we're seeing Veers get deployed. Looks like Veers, oh no, sorry, deciding to go with a sniper instead of Veers. Likely will bring them to the same place, somewhere probably around here, if he's willing to recon move them. A little bit of terrain issues there, trying to get the sniper to sit on top of the bags. I don't know if there's really any space for him to sit. Looks like there potentially can. As long as he can get him to steady himself on top of these sandbags, he could make it work. But I'm not too sure that that's actually going to work out very, very well. I guess we'll find out. Alternatively, he can place them all the way out this way. As to why he's bringing them so far forward, I'm not 100% on, but it looks as though Luke is basically putting all his eggs in one basket, putting everything right here. I mean, literally everything. This is opening up many avenues for Ripa, because as you can see here, Ripa has a nice lane to just run stuff just straight over into this deployment zone and score a point. That said, he will have to worry about the rapid reinforcements of these guys dropping in on him. But he has his own rapid reinforcements as well. So it looks as though Luke has left himself with quite a bit of open territory. This whole L bracket right here, just exposed to be exploited for breakthrough. So we'll have to see if that's going to bite him back or not. Alright, looks like we're getting the Another sniper placement here, the second sniper placement. From Ripa. Looks like it's going to be exactly the same deployment as the previous one, just slightly further back. But same thing where they're both having sight lines right through here. Alright, so back to Luke. Looks like now we're seeing Veers be deployed. An early bombardment target could be this squad over here, just to at least wipe him off the map, but he also might try and hold him for something else. Is Kublai Khan currently ongoing right now? I didn't know that was this weekend. Interesting. Well, we got Kublai Khan going on. Hence why a lot of the people aren't here right now. Alright, so with Veers deployed in the center of this madness, we're seeing what looks like the final snipers be deployed from Ripa over here. Will he put them in the same place, or will he put them somewhere different, potentially up here, just to give a little bit more cover if anyone rolls through this area? I think he should, but that's also just my opinion. Looks like he will at least give them somewhat different of deployment than just straight up right here. Looks as though potentially just putting them here currently. Not sure. Not sure that that's actually the subtle point of them right now. I think that they're going to get further moved once Ripa figures out where he wants them to go. And yeah, looks like that is where he's going to put them. Looks like he's actually content with them right there. I don't know what over here he can see and do. I suppose he's kind of just holding them in reserve to respond later. That might potentially be a thing. Alright, and we're seeing the third snipers over here from Luke be deployed. Again, likely the same as everyone else, just putting everybody here into the Skittles pile. Looks like they will probably try and find some space somewhere around here to get deployed into the center of the Skittles here. And it looks as though that is exactly what's going to happen. Likely deployed just forward of the DLT. Still relatively safe, because nothing will be right there to shoot at him. You can see that the spotter can go pretty much right here. That's exactly what he's doing. And yeah, that's exactly my thoughts as well. It seems as though absolutely everything has been deployed right here into the center. Not too sure what Luke's plan is, but clearly if he's putting everything right here, he's got some sort of plan brewing. Just not sure what that plan would be. If he wants his sniper to peek out over here, why would he not just have the sniper all the way back here where he's protected? I'm not too sure I understand what he's doing with this deployment. But again, he's got to have some plan. That sniper, though, is going to be one move away from being within range 3. So I'm not sure the purpose of that, rather than just having the sniper sit way back here and having his guy sit out of cover, or behind cover, or potentially here and having his man sit behind this tree. So I'm not too sure what the point of that was. Alright, looks as though we only have Leia left on Ripa's side. And she is going on top of the hill. She will not have any good lines of sight immediately. However, her coordinated bombardment, she can hold it long enough and then just drop it once people start rounding the bends. And then, like a turn 2 or 3 coordinated bombardment, just start wiping things out that way. In addition, up here, she could potentially be pretty useful just shooting things that come too close. Range 2, she could nope, changing it. I was going to say, from where she was at, she could probably range most of this area right here. But it looks as though she's getting placed. She could be placed over here and then immediately coordinate a bombardment into red, into yellow, potentially black, quite a few things. But placing her just kindly behind, currently in the open. We'll have to see where Ripa puts Leia. Looking to keep them probably just in range. So the deployment here for Leia is a lot to do with the range to this trooper unit right here, as well as this unit. So likely we're going to see No Time for Sorrows be played probably turn 1 here, just to get them moving, or her being able to give out her dodges immediately if she plays coordinated bombardment from right here. From here, she should be able to see what only looks like 2 units, though. Just red and yellow, from what I can tell. Maybe black, but I don't think so. Either way, she is within range 1 of both of these units, for whatever purpose that they were going for with that. And now moving her completely back behind this heavy cover. Maybe realizing that that was not going to be a good position for her. Checking movement to get her behind those barricades within her first turn. So likely what we'll see is her... It looks like they're really trying out for coordinated bombardment. She'll give out dodges here, move here, and then from here... likely see black, yellow, red, green, few people. Alright, Boba Fett going into this corner as well. Looks like Boba Fett is going to be joining the bag of Skittles right here as well. He will have a Recon 2 move because of him being equipped with Recon. And I suspect he'll go somewhere around here. The sniper got moved a little bit. I don't know if that changes anything, but... Boba Fett going here. That does give him the ability to respond quickly up into this direction. Probably is a lot closer than him starting off over here. From here, he could do a singular jump into these woods and immediately have shots at these guys. So it's not terrible where he's currently at. And it looks like Boba Fett is content where he's at. There we go. Yeah, I don't think putting Boba Fett over here would have been that great, because he would have only been here. He would be 4 or 5 squares away, whereas here, he's only like 3 squares away. Alright, so it looks like they are content with all their placements so far. And it looks like we're going to get to cards. Oh, they've already started the clock. Okay, perfect. So they are already down 35 minutes here. Looks like they are ready. And to the cards they go. I think we'll see coordinated bombardment first. I feel like that was pretty much telegraphed by where Leia was deployed. I doubt we're going to see maximum firepower from Veers, because he's not set up in a position for it. You might see Rocket backpack immediately, because Boba could hop up and shoot these guys to potentially take them all out. He could potentially hop over here and try and target Leia. Looks as though Chewie was indeed bountied, which is what I thought. However, I don't think I'd be too worried about bountying right off the bat. Boba could really do some damage by swinging around behind and starting shooting things from behind. Alright. So, we see one card out. We see Ripa's card out. I suspect that's coordinated. I don't know what this is going to be. Rocket. Oh, I predicted that one. Cool. Alright, so we're going to see Rocket. And we see coordinated bombardment. Like I said, Boba Fett could easily come over here and nuke this squad out of existence. Or, alternatively, he can wait for Chewie to round the bend and then just lay into Chewie, potentially dealing up to 5 damage to him right off the bat. Alright, I suspect that they'll want to put some damage on Chewie first before we see a rocket go into him, if that is indeed the target of this rocket. I think that there's a couple options for this rocket. There are multiple squads out here where easily a rocket can wipe things out, so it looks as though pulling from the stack, Ripa gets a sniper unit right off the bat. Not the first thing you want to see, obviously. Looks like they are going to move just enough to likely get a shot at one of these bases right here. This is, I think, where improvised orders would come in handy, but no one has improvised orders. Moving him back here, well, you could probably see the fingertips of the guy who's highlighted green, as well as that base. Yeah, he could see red. I'd agree with that. I'm sure they're just fidgeting just to get that in there, but if that's the intent, should be okay. Yeah, from here you can see his base. His base is not completely obscured from the wall, as well as the fingertips. Just nudging that guy right into contact here with the wall, keeping him in cohesion, and we'll likely see the sniper fire out, trying to hit, I'm assuming, red. And yes, it looks like that is indeed the case. This will actually be beneficial if that sniper hits. He does not, he misses completely. However, if he had killed the leader could just reposition here, and then suddenly that's a speed 1, almost speed 2 move for free. Alright, so it looks like the DLTs are going to activate here. One of them. Oh, instead, going with the Snowtroopers. That is a little daring to bring them out first, because it's going to mean that a lot of these units are going to have shots at them. I think that the Snowtroopers should absolutely go after a lot more of these troops have activated. Right now you're going to roll them out and they're just going to be fodder, because that's the first thing I would shoot is these Snowtroopers. I think you don't want to activate them first, but he's already committed as he's brought out the movement template. So, here goes nothing, bringing out the Snowtroopers. From this position, if he decides to hold here, ooh, he's forward cohering. Or is he just moving out of the way? I'm not sure. Forward cohering, bringing a lot of the troopers into not only line of sight, but into range of some of these rebel troopers. Likely, he's just he very well could be just poking out, firing, poking back in. That is a potential move. So we're going to see 5 E11 shots rolling out against these guys here. We see a crit. The 2 hits are not going to make a difference. And blocked. But they will get a suppression. And they very well could see these guys just move right back against this wall. And that seems to be exactly what Luke is doing. Just simply poking out and then poking back in to cover. So, not a terrible move here. Keeping everybody safe while still getting some shots before everything else moves out and clutters this area up out here. So, I take it back what I said. That was not a terrible move first. That makes sense if that was exactly what you're going to do, where they poke out and poke back in. And there should be enough room. Yep, right like that. Plenty of room. Alright, now we're seeing from the stack, looks like a trooper unit being pulled. Looks like the Z6 unit over here. They're checking their range. They are within range 3 already of that sniper. However, looks like only a handful can see. However, moving out, that sniper is just going to be completely easy to see for everybody, and I would likely say that that sniper is going to be killed. And it's going to be heavy cover no matter what, so shooting through these woods is not going to make a difference because half the sniper's hidden behind this building. So it's going to be a quick, easy way to get rid of the sniper, though, before he even activates. Alright, and here we go with the Z6 shot. Ooh, not that great. So, 2 hits getting through to that sniper. Oh, they don't surge, that's right. So only 1 with the crit, which is all he needed, though. And suddenly that sniper is down to a single unit, and has a suppression, and now is no longer in position to fire immediately. Alright, up next is a series of troopers. Likely going to see green roll out. They are in the mix of a pile of guys here. It's going to be trouble for them to really move. Because even a move 2 would only put them maybe here where this existing trooper is. Oh no, that's a speed 1 move. So potentially he could get over here. Could get close enough. But it looks as though the commanders are all positioned to basically move this direction here. I think you need to move red first, just to at least start clearing some space. Or you can move... Oh, it looks like he's committing to green. Yeah, it looks like he is going to move up this way, bringing potentially these Z6 troopers into range. We have another person cheering on, of course. Cheering on Ripa, I assume. Looks like stacking everybody right on top of each other a little bit there. You might have to bring some of these guys out just slightly. Probably wouldn't be bad to get rid of the movement token as well, or template. Looks as though everybody should see somebody here. But it is going to be heavy cover shooting through these woods. Will we see a bunch of crits? Looking for at least 2 hits to push something through. He does push through 1 hit. 1 hit is made, and 1 wound is applied. Yep, and go Ripolla. Or Ripple. My Portuguese is horrible, so I don't actually know any Portuguese. So I can't translate. Oh, that was... Oh, well, that makes sense now, wouldn't it? Seems like he has a whole fan base here. The cheering section is quite in favor of the Brazilian team playing currently. Leia is activating, looking to get in position to lay down some early coordinated bombardment strikes. Looks like there will be this guy available. Red is available here, yellow is available, and potentially black. So it will be a choice of targets. I would say that Leia is indeed able to see this base. Looks like starting off with black, however. First strike coming out. It's the wrong dice. 2 hits coming out. It'll be in through hard cover. Ooh, failing 2 right off the bat. Bad luck there with those dice. Really striking first here. Of course, only 1 being available. Yellow squad getting hit now. 2 more shots. And 2, a hit and a crit. Oh my god, and another 2 lost. Wow. The dice are not looking in Luke's favor right now. Certainly looking heavily in favor of Ripa's. And then shooting at Red Squad here. Just the leader and the guy behind him available. Well, potentially this guy as well. So there are 2 who are available. Alright. And firing, only getting 1 this time, which converts over to a crit. Failed again. He has failed every single save for this coordinated bombardment. That was absolutely devastating. I would not have expected that, as wow, math should have been at least partially in favor to have saved 3 of those. That is some serious bad luck for Luke right out of the gate. However, it is still early, so things can swing back in his favor. Just can't let that get you down right off the bat. It does suck going down with this single trooper unit already. However, can't let it stop you. Rolling away the suppression, though. The Brazilian cheering section totally against the Empire, it seems. Looks as though yellow will activate. Checking range to things. Speed 2 move would get you up here, which would likely get you range to those. Ooh, it might not get him range where he needs to be. Guess we'll find out. I think at this point, yes, you stagger yourself and move this direction. So while not great, it is still better than nothing. I think rolling out this way is not a good idea because these troopers already have dodges as well as not having activated yet. So anything that moves this way would likely incur quite a bit of firepower coming their way. Alright, so making a double move here, knowing that they're safe this turn, not having to worry too much about these troopers activating and shooting him, at least until next turn. Quite content. Looks like Ripa is drawing a trooper token, so we're going to see him move out. Checking distances for things. So when does rapid reinforcements come into play? Let's take a read on that. So starting with the blue player, each side obviously targets a trooper unit to be marked with a condition token when the player draws an order token with a rank of that. If they cannot choose one on the battlefield, they must then choose one that's marked for deployment. and then they bring it in outside of range 2 and treat it as though it has already moved. As that it was already activated. Okay. So basically they just get deployed. So likely what you're going to see is those rapid reinforcements just get deployed right back in here, establishing a victory point right out of the bat. Or potentially coming in right back in here, and then next turn wheeling around and just firing into everything without any cover. So you're seeing the Naked Trooper unit move up into the woods here, taking a standby, getting ready for anything that pokes around this way again, which is what I suspected that they were going to do. And then back to Luke. Alright, and we see a sniper unit be activated this time. He's checking that wall. It is height 1. It is impassable, so you'd have to treat it effectively as though you're clambering up it. Looking to roll that suppression off of the sniper. Purple fails to do so. However, it should not impact the sniper's ability to do pretty much anything. Looks like the sniper's going to roll out and then take a shot at the Z6 trooper unit right here. Alright. Shooting through heavy cover, down to light cover. Manages to get a hit, so it's just going to be a suppression on these troops. They now have 2 suppression. Next up is another trooper unit. Likely can see the same thing here with this dark blue unit. They roll out, position themselves in this heavy terrain, and take a standby action. It looks like that is exactly what's going to happen. Debating where to put them, apparently. Putting them right here would give them range to pretty much this wall. However, red still has to activate, so they could just activate and move right outside the line of fire and fire at the troopers, likely in the open. Oh, so range 2 actually doesn't get even nearly as close. So here's the band. So these red troopers do have a lot of room to move. So likely we're just going to see these guys move up and fire, potentially putting another suppression on red, making it so that they only get a singular activation. Yep, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Firing on these red troopers here. This one guy over here kind of gives away that all of them can be hit. Firing the Z6 and everything else. That way, if nothing else, it's going to put another suppression, potentially causing them to not activate. Well, they will activate because of yours, but only 1 hit from the crit going through. Not a lot of good fire coming out of the Z6 squads at all. And failing yet another Stormtrooper save. Luke just getting hammered by failed red die after failed red die after failed red die. Looking to rally off the suppression on the red troopers. Manages to clear 1. However, that only means that he's going to get a single activation. He could potentially return fire. However, it would only be a singular model that likely can return fire. So he's going to have to move. However, both of these troopers have dodges. So he very well can pile himself a little bit closer to this wall, taking cover, and then repositioning all his troopers to keep him safe. And that's exactly what happens. Putting them in an area where they are now safe from getting any fire coming in at them. And that should be it for red. Looks as though another commander was drawn. However, Leia's already activated, so it is Han here. Looking to double check his movement and his ranges to everything. You might see Han swing around this direction to try and head off anything that's going to pour through this center area here. Taking a dodge, giving one to Chewie. Likely going to see Han move, like I said, back over to this area. Oh, now it looks like he might roll him around the front, potentially closing off any gaps a lot closer. And of course, keeping him completely concealed from pretty much anything through this wall. Changing his mind about that. Looks like he's going to go back over here, as I originally thought. Likely to be additional fire support in case these troopers fall. Alright, and happy with his placement there. Back to Luke. Drawing from his stack, looks like a sniper unit. He has 2 unactivated so far. You have blue here, and you have white. Yeah, white right here. Activating blue, he could move him so that he can get shots on the squad here if he so chooses. Or he can move him down and get shots at Leia or the squad, the Z6 squad this way, or the Naked squad as well. Looking as though he's going to move him directly behind purple to get some shots either on Han or onto the Z6 squad that's already been hit. Plopping this unit in a nice position where he is completely obscured. Bases overlapping a bit there. Well, that works. Looking to get shots again at the Z6 squad. 2 shots. Looking for a crit or 2 hits. Gets a single hit, so that's just another suppression on the squad. Another trooper unit. So it's going to be this light blue here. I suspect they're going to move to try and either reinforce this flank or move dead ahead to try and plug the hole on this side. It looks as though they might double move to get basically where Han is behind this barricade. It looks like that's exactly where he's going to go. With that double move there, just a little bit of cohesion to get everyone in cover. Range 3 does get him to yellow, so yellow will be exposed next turn if nothing is done about it. Alright, back to Luke, drawing another sniper unit. White over here, sitting on top of these sandbags, or technically inside of them. That might hamper his movement, depending on what they decide to do. These sandbags are supposed to provide difficult movement for troopers. So not too sure what Luke's going to do. He could move here. He will have a shot at Leia. He'll have a shot at the dark blue here. Looks as though moving here, he gets a shot at that singular trooper unit. Luke now into play a little more reserved since he is down to 2 units that are down to 3 men each. Taking a shot at these troopers. Rolls blanks. No luck at all for Luke this turn. This turn has been nothing but blanks for him. So we're seeing the dice really go against Luke here. His positioning was not optimal. He probably had a plan for it, but just was not working. See another sniper unit activate here for Ripa. Not many targets for these snipers, at least. Looks like checking ranges for different things. And it looks as though we might see these black snipers activate. As to where they would go, I'm not sure. They could also just be in a position to prevent Luke from deploying his stormtroopers just directly behind everybody. Looks like they are about to move out. Likely moving into this light terrain here. I don't think they'll have much of a thing to do next turn, but this light terrain being completely open for troopers. They might double move here to next turn move and attempt to get some shots off. Not exactly the best deployment spot for him. Looks like he's checking range to see where potentially Luke can deploy his reserves. And it looks like based on this, he is denying them the ability to deploy back in the back corner. Alright. You see improvised orders used, however, drawing just a trooper both times. Likely was looking for Veers. Odds were in his favor, however, it didn't work out. Try to roll suppression off of black here. Manages to not do it. They do not rally, so they will get a singular activation. Or singular action here as part of their activation. And likely they're just going to move to get ready for next turn. Wouldn't be bad to set up to be able to fire into things for next turn. Down a man as well from the coordinated bombardment. just getting in position to likely fire at the already partially wounded Z6 squad or Han, depending on what happens. Alright, moving into the position. They are now content with where they're at, and we're going to see another draw come from Ripa. Looks like drawing a trooper unit. I don't know what's left, other than the one that is currently held in reserve, and it looks like that is indeed the case. So they're going to get deployed, I suspect, somewhere back in here. Alternatively, if you really want to, he could deploy them back here and then leave them here all game for that victory point right off the bat. Have to be outside of range too. They act as though they've been deployed. I think the safest position is likely going to be back here. And just take the victory point. However, it looks like he's putting them in a position where next turn he can move out and get shots at this black squad, potentially. But currently, with only Veers left to activate, it might not be terrible to just Veers and Boba Fett, obviously. Yeah, you want to keep him out of range of Boba Fett. Boba Fett likely will strike either these guys, or Han, or Chewie, or these guys, depending. Looks as though he might be content here, because then they can move out and take shots next turn. Depends what you want to do with them, I suppose. A little bit of deciding going on. Alright. Looks as though a little bit of outside of the cohesion here. Players seem to be at a standstill for something. Looks like Ripa's being a little indecisive. And we'll likely see them be done here momentarily. I think this is an okay position. It still allows them to get in the fight, and then if they take too many wounds, they can easily retreat and double move either behind this building or behind these this hill here, and thus be able to take up position for a victory point, regardless of what they do. Where they're currently at gives them the ability that next turn they can just lay into Black Squad here. Because he's checking his movement, seeing how far he is from everything. You could see a counter deployment, basically right here on this line, from Luke, potentially, as an option. It looks like he draws Veers, finally. Probably a little later than he wanted to. Removing the suppression from the Black Troopers. Veers is going to activate. Lots of stuff dead currently. You see coordinated bombardment killed off 2 guys from red, 2 guys from yellow, 1 guy from black. Everything was basically deployed right here from Luke. Sniper got gutted by the Z6 squad here. These guys have yet to deploy because of rapid reinforcements. On Ripa's side, you see a singular unit here killed off from this squad, and that's it. Alright, Veer's rolling out. Looks like he's going to move out. Alright. Now we have Chewie be pulled. Where's Chewie going to go? Nobody really knows. On top of Han. Needs to move back slightly, but still. Looks like he's just going to double move him to be against that barricade. Also looking like he's going to fill up, try and block any movement from any of these troopers up this way. However, in doing so, it becomes a very choice target for Boba Fett, as Boba Fett could hop up into these woods and light up Chewie with his rocket, and then just focus him down. However, doing so, he's not going to get his aim, but still, this Chewie could also be bait. A lot of wounds to go through. 9 wounds if you include stems. Or no, 9 wounds plus stems. So, be a lot to go through to kill off Chewie. Alright. With that done, I would say try and pull from the stack. Potentially get... Well, they can't fire this turn. So yeah, I would say counter rapid reinforce here to stop these guys. Or potentially over here to have somebody who can swing around and do some damage this way. Looks like everything is activated except for one sniper unit. These guys. Blue has not activated yet. Everything else has activated. Luke decided to go with Boba Fett as opposed to anything else. He has the aim from Veer's spotter. Looking to jump into the woods. I suspect he's going to try and get just outside of range 3 of Blue, but within range 3 of Chewie, and I don't know if that's going to be doable. No matter what, I think Boba Fett puts himself in a position where he's just in hard cover and is going to take a lot of shots. Let's see where he goes here. Alright, looking like he's going to go behind the cover. Because it doesn't really impact him any. He does have range 3 to these troopers. He can take them out completely, which would not be terrible. Just eliminating an activation gets him ahead. Instead, it looks like he's shooting at this squad. He can only see 4 of them, though. I'm not sure that is the best use, but okay. Firing everything at that squad. 3 hits. Need to reroll those 2 blacks thanks to his aim from Veers. Getting 4 hits. Piercing one of those eliminates 3 troopers. Apparently somehow they decided that, well, yeah, whatever. Apparently that's what they decided. Zyconia saying, Rebels F the meta. Everyone seems to be cheering for Ripa at the moment. No love for Luke. I believe he should have taken the Z6 off as well. because this guy was not targetable at all. And with 3 wounds going through, Commander has to be last. So, I believe that is the correct play. There we go. They fixed it. Perfect. This now means that this trooper unit is completely irrelevant, and they should just take their next activation and basically run and hide behind cover and just count as a victory point. Looks like they're doing their best to make sure that nothing can deploy back here. I still think over here is now the next most valid move. Deploy here, wrap around, and start firing into your targets this way. Chewie could have absorbed 3 shots from the rocket. So I guess this target was likely the best shot, because over here, Chewie would have absorbed 3 out of that 4. It would have put damage onto Chewie, which wouldn't be terrible, but if you're trying to wipe out a unit, this is probably the best target. I think that was the right move after all. Alright, so we're seeing the blue snipers activate. They're going to move. Likely try and get a shot. They'll have no targets here. So they're going to double move. Potentially getting the snowtroopers next turn. And then last but not least, we're going to see the troopers be deployed from the reinforcement area. And it looks like they will either be a counter over here or up here like I had thought they would be. Just outside of 2 there, so that'd be exactly where he wants to be. However, he is exposed to these 2 troopers, but again, I think that their best move at this point is to run away rather than do anything else. We'll see next turn when things get activated. So with this final deployment, they will go on to turn 2, after having spent an hour and 20 minutes with deployment in turn 1. Things will likely pick up at this point. Taking a quick break, it looks like. Setting up for round 2. I will leave the camera overhead while they take their break. I'm going to go grab myself something to drink. There we go, Flash SW supporting Luke. We finally got a Luke supporter in the house. And I will be right back as they take a break as well. Alright, I am back. It looks like Luke is ready with his card. Looks like Ripa's ready with his card. Timer has been restarted, so all is good there. And maximum firepower versus reckless diversion. Ooh, interesting. Who will be the diversion? So this will be interesting because it forces, if able to, Luke must target said token, or any face-up token that is. So it will be interesting as it does force a little bit of a counterplay here. I think you might see him throw the token on this Z6 squad here. And then Chewie can absorb wounds from them as needed. Or it could be blue here behind the heavy cover as well. And it looks like that is indeed the choice target there. So not too terrible of a placement there. Whereas we just get Veers. Alright, drawing from the stack. Looks like he is not happy with it, so he's going to go ahead and flip the improvised orders. And instead of taking the sniper, he gets a core unit. Alright, and it's looking like he's going to take the teal troopers here. He could activate them and just fire right into this squad here, currently as is, because that will prevent at least them having to fire at this squad over here, or they can roll out and fire at that squad or Han if they so choose to. Looks like they're going to take an aim and fire at this squad, though, which is probably the right choice. Wow. Rolled out almost perfectly. 5 hits, going down to 3. So 3 on 2 troopers here. Likely we'll see that unit dead. Or not. As I crack my bougie water open. I do apologize for that. Yeah, so that trooper unit just takes a second suppression and clearly laughs in the face of Luke, who just had a fantastic roll. Just go nowhere. Luke clearly getting defeated by the die here. Leia being given her order token. Looks like she's going to roll out, maybe get in range to do some shots. Maybe just move into a position to dole out some dodges. Again, preserving the majority of the side of the board with those dodges. Looks like getting herself in a position so that she can fire if needed to. But no, taking a second move order to actually put her into the heavy cover, it looks like. Giving her a little bit more survivability. Nope, instead she is going to be giving out the dodges to the 2 different units here. As I suspected, helping preserve this flank in case anything rolls around. Those dodges are going to be huge. Alright, drawing from the top of the stack, Luke is going to get a token eventually. There we go. And he draws Boba Fett. Not exactly what you would hope to see this early. However, Boba Fett could jump up and over this building, putting him in a place where he can't shoot these guys, instead only being able to shoot these 2, and effectively completely wiping them out, which wouldn't be too terrible, since they have not activated yet. However, he needs to be careful because he doesn't want to get too close to these guys. Likely can just have him jump right to about here. Or maybe he's just measuring, making sure that he's in a certain range where he's going to fire maybe the rocket at them and then use the carbine at these guys, split fire. That is an option. Of course, in doing so, Chewie can absorb some of those shots.
Hello there.
Thank you for the follow, by the way. Much appreciated. Alright, getting in position to rocket the troopers over here, as well as carbine the guys up here if he so chooses. I don't know if you want to split fire here. Do you really want to secure this kill with these two? Or do you want to potentially split? That is the question. And I don't know what the real answer is. And again, thank you for the follow, Oliveria. Much appreciated. Firing everything at that one squad, as I thought you should. Yikes. Only throwing out 2. However, the first block will automatically fail because of Pierce. And obviously, good choice because he ended up needing it. That activation is now gone before it even had the chance to be used. So, eliminating an activation, Luke is finally out on top. And that also does mean, in the event of a tie, Luke currently is in the lead. Alright, trying to activate the Z6 group here, need to blow off some suppression. They do not, they are suppressed. However, they are within range of Han, so they're able to get a singular activation. Looks like they are going to fire at Boba Fett. Instead, firing at Green. Now, likely trying to get the purple sniper here. And he does manage to do so. So, firing through heavy cover at the sniper. Still going to be a very strong attack, even unaimed. Going to be 3 blacks and a bucket of whites. Looking for any crits he can get. And he gets 2. The 2 hits are ignored. The surge means nothing. So looking to save 2. Otherwise it's back to parity. And nothing. That sniper is now killed off. And that is an activation. This time a sniper activation gone. However, snipers are 16 and 28, so that's 42 versus a Z6, which is 22 and 40, which is, yeah, so basically tied. 62 over there versus, what did I say, 40? 42 over here. So, or no, 44. Sorry, my math's so good. 44. Alright, looking to do the same peekaboo maneuver here with the Snowtroopers. Alright, firing into this group, needing crits basically. Rolls 2, but 2 doesn't do it because he's firing at least into heavy cover. So nothing but a suppression on them, and then going to retreat back behind cover like he was previously. And likely readjust so that way less things have shots at them. I don't know if you're going to be able to wedge it in any good way. But I understand that basically he's trying to keep them out of line of sight from the snipers where they're currently at. I think the answer is they might not be able to. I understand the game plan, I just don't know if the execution's going to work. Yeah, you might be able to tuck him in right here. Well, that kind of works. I think he's still better off being tucked in right like that. Yeah, right next to the commander. I think that's probably the best placement. That gets pretty much everybody out of the way. A little bit of shuffling. Alright, and that looks good there. Alright, drawing a trooper unit. The light blue that was attacked, or the dark blue that was attacked from the snow troopers is going to go ahead and activate. Or it's going to be the naked squad instead. Yep, the naked squad. Nope, back to the dark blue, as originally thought. Looks like they're going to roll off their suppression, or attempt to. Nothing. So they're going to move out. They get a single activation. They can either move, or they can take a standby as is. Standby might not be terrible. However, this guy is exposed, so he would be able to give away the standby, and there is plenty of room to maneuver behind this line. So I think a standby there is not the best. I think you should honestly move them up into the cover, so that way you can apply pressure. However, you will have to watch out because the flame troopers can round the bend and really do some heavy damage. So trying to keep that distance still, I'm sure. Yeah, looks like he's going to move into the cover here. Alright, and then complete. Look like another sniper unit being activated here. You can see this guy potentially moves slightly back and then getting shots on these two snipers here. It is an option. Or you can see blue sniper over here getting activated and taking shots at the squad right here. However, where he's currently at, he can see the blue squad here, which would mean he would have to fire on them. So you'd have to move or aim and fire. Looks like that is what he's going to do. He's going to aim and fire at the blue squad here. Not exactly terrible. Could take out any of these three guys here. Landing a hit. Looking like he's going to reroll that with the aim. And he gets it. Gets a crit. So one trooper dead. Alright, and drawing snipers. Looks like he's going to go with the light blue snipers here. Moving them out. He can get shots either on red or on the white sniper here if he wants to. And where he's at currently, he has plenty of targets. Alright, and looking like he's firing at red troopers there, since they're already wounded. He has the potential to kill the commander and the DLT there. Getting a singular hit, that's not going to do it because they are in heavy cover, so just a suppression there. Shorks coming out. Yes, indeed, this is the 11 activation Luke Cook special versus the 11 activation Super Friends special. So lots of interesting things here. Sniper over here returning fire, gets 2 hits, kills the sniper. Rolling with impunity there, and making the sniper have to duck behind the tree. Alright. So we see another sniper be activated from Luke's, or not Luke, Ripa's side of the board. Likely these guys will need to activate and move. Deciding instead to go with the, what I can only assume is the gray snipers here. Firing at way across the board, teal. Looks like he can see the DLT as well as maybe just the DLT. Getting a singular hit. Gonna need to see another hit or a crit out of this one. Gets nothing, so just a suppression. I think that might have saved the DLT, because I think the DLT... Oh, no, sorry. Would have been one of these two guys who could be seen. I didn't realize the DLT was over here. So, yep. Preserving them, giving them a suppression, though. Alright, Luke pulling a trooper unit. Have your choice of red, green, and yellow, and black as well. Green, where they're currently at, cannot see blue, so they can target this group right here. Taking an aim and likely firing at them. Alright, looking for crits or more than 2 hits. He does get a crit, but he does have aim, so you're going to see 3 of these dice be re-rolled. Getting a second hit, not enough, just going to be 1 coming in from the crit. And taking out a trooper unit. Slowly whittling down that unit, though. Alright, Chewie activating. Chewie, yeah, it's round 2 right now. See, round 2. Chewie activating, likely want him to get into combat if possible and start tying things up, especially if that is Boba Fett. However, I don't see that likely happening. Just instead moving and getting in a good position to likely shoot at yellow. Potentially at Boba Fett in the open. Yep, firing at Boba Fett. He arguably would get heavy cover, because this is area terrain. So instead, changing his mind on that. Yes, I incorrectly said unit. I meant mini. And Biggin's pointing out that Chewie is not great at, or is bad versus imps in close combat because of that Pierce gun that he has. Pierce is better at shooting. However, depending on what your target is, he does have tenacity, so it is a lot more dice. But Pierce is great against Empire. However, if you can get in close combat with Boba Fett and tie him up, especially after he's burned his, what you want to call it, his rope, then it wouldn't be bad to get in close combat. But I agree, currently shooting with the bowcaster is probably the better bet. Likely just fidgeting to get him in range. Potentially fidgeting to get him in open as well. He might be at that point where I don't know if you can get him in. Still is going to clip the edge of this, which means that because it's area terrain, Boba Fett would still have cover. Apparently having little issues where they had to pause real quick. Potentially a disconnect from Luke. Or potentially audio problems from Ripa. Okay, seems that they resolved it. Alright, looking like he's firing at Boba Fett. We'll have to see if they called it as normal cover or heavy. It looks like they're calling it as heavy, so Boba Fett's just taking a suppression. I think that was the right call because it was clipping the area terrain. Alright, and then we're going to see Luke pull a token here momentarily. Drawing a sniper. That is the dead sniper. Instead, drawing a trooper unit. Looks like it's going to be yellow. Or black. Black does have range to blue with the DLT, so he will have to fire the DLT at them. He can go with red, and he can go with yellow. Yellow can see blue as well. The DLT cannot. Well, I guess you could argue the DLT... No, the DLT can't. So looking to move. Looks like they're going to move into the cover. Not enough to get range 3, but close. You can probably fidget it a little bit if they wanted to. Looks like he is going to DLT pot shot at blue, as well as do the E11s at Chewie. Chewie will be in the complete open. DLTs will be... No, the DLT shots will be through heavy cover. Ooh, a hit and a crit on Chewie, so that's 2 saves. Taking 1 wound on Chewie, that means Hunter is activated. I got a thing for that. Somewhere. Alright, then the DLT firing at Blue Squad. Getting 2 hits, so it's just going to be suppression. And yellow squad is activated. So now we're going with another trooper unit. Likely going to be the gray troopers down here who have not activated yet. The 4-man naked squad is going to... They can move out. They can take a... it looks like they are going to move out. However, red has not activated yet down here. Likely we're waiting for Veers to activate to potentially pull off this suppression. However, in doing so, Veers would need very good shots with his maximum firepower. He currently has no shots at anything. He could place his troopers over here to get shots on the sniper or on red. And it looks like that's what he might be doing. However, this will expose them to next turn. I think that these snow troopers can round this bin and barbecue them pretty easily. They will be exposed to the Z6s, but it might actually be worth... Well, and Leia. Leia's the problem because she'll just down those snow troopers left and right. Alright, so taking shots on red. Looks like everyone's just going to see the commander here. So a bunch of black dice, you see a hit come across, and it's just going to be a suppression on red. If nothing else, getting that extra suppression means that they likely won't activate, or do 2 activations this turn. Alright, so now it's back to Luke. Pointing out what has not activated yet, the snipers, Han, and the rebel troopers that have their token. In terms of what Luke has yet to activate, he still needs to activate the red troopers. He needs to activate Veers, and black troopers, I believe, also need to activate. Alright, so activating Veers. Looks like he might be forgetting about the suppression. And no, he does clear it before he does anything. Alright, so. Veers is likely maneuvering to get into a position where he can likely only see Chewie or these guys here. I would suspect we'll see him spotter and give it to red as well as himself, or black. Black is an option as well, because they have not activated yet either. Looks like no matter what you do, you're going to have heavy cover because of the area terrain, which will be reduced to light because Veers and his, what do you want to call it? His sharpshooter. Alright, so giving an aim out to black, keeping one for himself. Looks like his coordinated bombardment is going to hit Chewie. Or not coordinated bombardment, maximum firepower. Same concept. Getting a crit and a bunch of hits. I think you just take it. Chewie blanking all of them, so that's 3 additional wounds on Chewie. That should bring him up to enraged status, so he no longer cares about suppression, and he now has 4 wounds out of 9, plus an additional 2 from E-Stems. So, almost halfway dead, but still a lot of life left in him. Alright, trooper unit, that's likely the dead troopers. Sniper unit activating. Likely see them move out. Potentially take a shot at black troopers. He could... Ooh, if he moved carefully... No, he can't. Never mind. That's impossible. I just couldn't see these two back here behind the woods. Alright, do you shoot at Boba Fett? Do you shoot at yellow, or do you shoot at black? I think you shoot at yellow. Try and whittle them down since they're already weak. Black has not activated yet, so that could take off an additional Stormtrooper. So it might not be terrible. You got some choices. Firing into heavy cover, which is down to light. A hit comes across. Rocket has already been used. So he won't have the opportunity to rocket him. He used it last turn to eliminate a good chunk of the Z6 squad that got deployed behind the lines. Alright, and black activating. Their choice looks to be either Chewie, if they split fire, or blue, obviously, unless they move. They have the... Well, they need to roll their suppression first, because that'll dictate what they do. Rolling blanks, so keeping the suppression will just be an attack action, which is fine because they have an aim. I suspect we'll see the E11s go at Chewie, and then these DLT go at blue. One too many there, but correcting himself, not a big deal. Looks like he's going to be rolling the 3. Yes, no, maybe so. Without hearing what the player audio is, I don't know what they're debating. However, in the end, that is what they're going with. Alright, one hit goes through, however, the terrain knocks it down, so no hits go through. Rerolling because of the aim, gets a crit, so that one will go through. Chewie able to block that crit, no problem. And then the DLT shot going against blue over here. They already have 2 suppression on them. We see 2 hits, so there'll be another suppression on blue. Red squad still to activate. Alright. So now it's off to Ripa, depending on if he wants to activate Han or the troopers first. Red squad still needs to activate, however, I don't think they're going to have any shots at anything up here. It'll likely be something down in this area. Alright, so we see the blue squad activating. They have to roll off 3 suppression. 2. Thought they would be at 3. Should be 3. Yeah. So they corrected it. And keeping all of them, so they will just get a single activation this turn. Or single action as part of their activation. They're going to take a move. I think you're better off taking a move 1 if you want to hop over there and head that direction. Moving on out. Instead, going back to the original position and doing a recover instead, clearing all the suppression because they had a risk of running next turn if properly shot at. Trying to get rid of the red suppression, they do not manage to, so they will be stuck with a single action as well. With a 3-man trooper unit here, I think your best odds are to... Well, they can't fire, so they can move. However, they'd be exposing themselves to incoming fire. You could retreat if you wanted. Preserving that activation and the points, because currently, as it sits, with the Z6 unit killed versus a sniper unit killed, Luke would win on a point victory, as opposed to a victory point. So trying to preserve those activations the best he can. Alright, Han getting his move in. Likely to see him move up to support Chewie a little better next turn. And potentially getting good shots off next turn at other units as well. Getting himself in a good position to take out both yellow as well as potentially do some damage on teal if they wrap around the corner here. Where he's currently at, he does not have range at anybody, but he does set himself up in a good position for next turn to get range if need be. Alright, and then I believe that should be it from both players. Should be the beginning of turn 3 here. Looks like it is. Down to 1 hour and 5 minutes left on turn 3. What cards will we see? So Coordinated already played, Reckless Diversion played, No Time for Sorrows is potential, because that would motivate these two troops to activate. You can see Han potentially play his Recover the card out of the deck card, or Chewie technically, and get back Reckless Diversion. Over here, I don't think you're going to see Flame come out. There is the potential for push. Veers' 3-pip also isn't terrible. And Whipcord at this point in time would be a little irrelevant. So I think you'll see either push or the 3-pip. Oh, Coordinated Fire, even better. And Notorious Scoundrel, so yeah, allowing him to pull back Reckless Diversion back into his hand. Chewie and Han getting their tokens. And 3 core units, so we're going to see probably green as well. And with this means that anyone who uses an aim may pass it along to anybody else. If they're core, they will be able to pass it to core, and you can keep passing them core to core to core. You can have them all terminate onto a single non-core unit if you wanted. So you could have them all end on either a E-Web, or in this case, like end on Boba Fett or Bosk. Or even the sniper, if you care that much to have the sniper. Alright, rolling to see... I suspect they need to roll to see who keeps... Nope, just stacking and shuffling. Yeah, they need to roll for priority. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was 3-pip on 3-pip. Alright, so seeing if Ripa keeps priority, he does. Ripa going first. I think the proper order for this currently is going to be, depending on who activates first, okay, with Chewbacca activating, I think that makes it a little bit more difficult. Because I was going to say, if Chewbacca doesn't activate, you want to aim and fire with yellow, pass that to black, have them move up into the terrain, use that aim and fire, pass it to green, have green move up into the terrain, aim and fire at Chewbacca, pass it to Boba Fett, and then try and bounty Chewbacca at that point. That is what I think you should do. But that's also guesswork. With Chewbacca activating, however, there are quite a few things that are going to happen. Chewbacca can easily just go and hide behind this light cover and just start shooting at Boba Fett, no problem. And that's likely a pretty good move, because that keeps a lot of fire off of Chewbacca, because he was currently in the open. Now he has at least light cover, potentially heavy, depending on where he's going. He does have range 3, I believe. Yeah, 3. So where he's going now, he's kind of just retreating. However, he will have Teal. He can shoot at Teal. They will be in... will they be in light or heavy? I think they're going to be in heavy because it's clipping the edge of this wall here. And that's for them to debate. It can go either way. I think that third line is definitely clipping that wall right there. You can see it right here. Depends on how they want to call it, though. I will let them decide as to how they want to do that. I think Chewbacca did have enough. He could probably have nudged himself directly against the wall, or the edge of the board, and that would have eliminated the problem completely. Alternatively, he could also just back up slightly, and then I don't think it's a problem either. But we'll see how they decide to go with it. 2 hits. If they called it as heavy, that's just going to be a suppression. Otherwise, it's a dead trooper. And it looks like they called it as heavy. So yeah, just adding 1 suppression to these guys, which is completely fine. I think at this point you draw from the stack as opposed to taking these guys, but... looks like they're going to aim and fire at the guys who are already suppressed, potentially trying to cause them to run, or help eliminate some guys. Also works. Not terrible. Getting a crit and a hit. I'm going to see 3 roll to see what happens. Ouch. Getting 3 more hits, so now it's going to be 3 saves against 3 troopers. Looks like Chewie can absorb, depending on how they want to call that. To preserve that that activation. It looks like he's going to choose to move that aim here shortly. Once some shots are done. Or, yep, there we go. Moving it to yellow. Alright, so pulling 2, it looks like. Nope, pulling 3. I don't know where he's taking it, though. Whatever it is, failed all of them. So it looks like, yeah, that squad is removed. So killing another activation, Luke now in the lead with activations after killing 2Z6, no, yep, 2Z6 squads. That is a lot of firepower off the board that really probably is a sigh of relief for Luke, who had suffered really terrible dice luck early. However, the vast majority of Ripa's forces here residing in the Super Friends still on the board with very little damage. Chewie just below, or just above half. Drawing a sniper. You're going to see black over here, able to activate. Has plenty of choice shots, either black or at yellow. Going to aim and fire. Looking like yellow is the target, indeed. Yep, try and clear a little bit more of that activation there. Blanking out, thankfully he has an aim. Getting a crit, so that is a unit killed, so that will likely be the unarmed guy, or the standard E11 guy. And Biggins pointing out that the loss of 2 Z6s is actually pretty huge, indeed. That is pretty big because a lot of your dice variants and forced saves are going to come from there. And now that really does leave Han and Chewie all by their lonesome up here without any backup whatsoever. There is blue, there is a sniper here, but it's not that big of a deal. So deciding to activate yellow before they get completely wiped out here. They do have a suppression that they will need to roll for. Strict ordering them. Brilliant move. Strict orders, of course. Card that basically lets you have any unit that has a face-up order token. When they activate, you can rally them for free. Well, rally a singular token off them for free without rolling. Looks like they're going to aim and fire at Han. Try and push through some crits onto Han. They get a crit and a hit. The singular hit not going to be that effective, so going to re-roll those two. Still with the same result. Getting that second aim in, same result. So Han taking a hit. Currently taking a wound. Re-rolling because of uncanny luck. And he's able to block it. Does take a suppression. Over 2 aims move on to the black Stormtroopers. Alright, now, drawing from the deck, you see Ripa taking out a Z6 squad. Well, an infantry squad of any type, core. Looks like he is going to go ahead and activate what looks like will be the Naked Trooper squad here. Strict Orders is amazing. It really does help clear some stuff off the battlefield. It's really great if somebody's playing Annihilation Looms. But the fact that you can just automatically ditch a suppression is pretty huge, so long as that unit is a unit with a face-up activation token. Alright, so I'm moving out. Moving here, they're going to get some good shots at pretty much choose your target. Alright, instead, moving to be next to the tree. Only able to see the sniper and Veers and a little bit over there. Looks like they're checking the range for snowtroopers. And yeah, where the snowtroopers are, they would be able to barbecue these rebel troopers if they had chosen to. However, I think if you move these troopers out here, and Leia has not activated yet, that is a gigantic risk because Leia will just completely annihilate them. That said, at some point you might want to start thinking about clearing some stuff out. But again, there's not really a hard push to have to. Because currently Luke is ahead. Luke seems to be slowly taking care of the front on this side, leaving it so that this side is kind of stuck with the snowtroopers peeking out, shooting, peeking back in. Alright, shooting at the snipers. It's going to be everybody getting a shot at the snipers. Should be 4 black, which is corrected to. Landing 2 hits, not enough. Just be a suppression. Which could be big. Well, no, because he had cleared a suppression earlier. Drawing a trooper unit. You have red, and you have snowtroopers, and you also have the teal troopers up here, which looks like that is what they're going to do. Try and eliminate the suppression. They potentially could readjust and have quite a few shots at Chewie if they readjust. Currently, 2 troopers can't see Chewie, so depending on if you clear that suppression, see what happens. They do not, so I think they just fire from where they currently are with the 3 people who can see Chewie. Should be the DLT and 2 E11s. They're saying those 2 definitely can't see, which I agree with. Oh, apparently they're saying 3 can see. Well, okay then. Alright, so 3 hits coming in on Chewie. 2 go through. Chewie is now more than half damage. He's now looking at 6 out of 9, so... Oh, I think that might be 1 too many. Oh yeah, Chewie does not surge. I forget about that. So Chewie now at 7 damage. Boba Fett has a juicy, juicy target at this point. Looking like he's deciding to activate Han, or at least checking Boba Fett's range. Boba Fett currently has range for his carbine to Chewie. I'm pretty sure Boba Fett does not want to eat some shots from Han here. Han's rolling a suppression off. He does manage to clear it. Unimportant, though, as Han... Well, Han would have preferred likely to have kept it. Going to go ahead and move so that he can get some shots at the teal squad here. Looks like he has them, I would say, likely... Ooh, that's going to be heavy cover. Firing at him. 2 hits. Does he have sharpshooter 1 or 2? He has sharpshooter 1, so down to light cover, so one guy should be dead. I think. Yeah, should be one dead. Because of sharpshooter 1. He probably forgot about sharpshooter 1. Alright, so Han taking out a singular guy there with those 2 hits. Not really able to do too much else here. Looks like Black is moving up. Not sure where they're moving to or what they're going to target. Looking like getting in range of Blue, so they're going to open up on Blue. They have range to dump their aims onto Boba Fett, I believe, if they choose to. The dice already out there work. 2 crits go through. That's an awesome rollout there from the DLT. Ooh, and a 3rd crit comes out. Fourth crit, and then 1 hit. Blanking all 4, losing that entire unit with that shot. That was an amazing makeup shot from Luke's previous terrible luck. Things are really starting to turn around now. Those Stormtroopers just critted everything with their shots. Looks like Boba Fett charging up. Distributing aims across the board here. Sniper activating is going to be the guy hiding behind the tree. Or it could be these guys over here as well. He might roll out and try and shoot this sniper that already has a suppression, potentially causing him to lose out on a not an activation, but a action, as well as potentially killing him. I don't think you can see him from there, but looks like that's a tree to me. You can likely move right about here and be fine. See his gun. Or it could go here. I think that's a little too far. He can move back slightly. Right about there and be able to see his base. 3 out of 4 Z6 is dead. Chewie is pretty much going to be dead here. I think you are correct, Biggins. You're going to see a lot of things go quite sideways for Ripa really quick. He started off so strong, too. And it's quickly collapsing like a house of cards. But anything is possible. Dice can swing both ways, so we will see what happens. Alright, shooting at the sniper here. Looking like it's through heavy cover. Well, he'd be heavy cover anyway. No aim. Looking for a crit. Got his 2 hits. That will kill that sniper off. However, both Red and the Snowtroopers have a prime target now to just pop out and shoot. Snowtroopers could easily just pop out, shoot the sniper, retreat back into cover, and that's another activation that will be down. And it looks like he does have that choice, that if he wants to take it, that's exactly what he could do. However, Red does have the ability to activate and do whatever he wants. And they could pass that aim onto the Snowtroopers. Looks like they can come out and shoot these troopers over here, potentially getting them in the open. You'd likely have to be positioned right about where I'm looking to do so. He does have plenty of movement. He can arrange them however he needs to. It looks like it would be all of them in the open indeed. DLT, doesn't matter. It's just the commander that needs to see. Oof. Does not have him in range, though. Only has the DLT in range. However, that's perfectly fine if that's what he wants. They will be in the open from that shot, by the looks of it. No, no. Looks like they'll get... Ooh. No, because the sandbags are not area terrain. So yeah, he is completely in the open for those DLT shots. Not the best, but hey, it's two potential hits. And that's 2 hits. And 2 more dead rebel troopers. Seems as though the saves have really gone against Ripa here. And instead of the early bad luck from Luke, it seems to have gone to good luck from his shots. Alright, drawing from his stack, sees another trooper unit. Likely not what he was hoping to draw. It's going to be this dark blue unit here. Likely would have loved to have Leia give him a dodge before then, because otherwise right now Leia's effectively just a sitting duck with nothing to do. A little bit of debate here. Looks like they're going to move. Try and get out of range of barbecue, if possible. In fact, I think they're moving close enough that they can be barbecued. I think he's trying to bait the barbecue onto the Z6 squad as opposed to the E11s on the sniper. I think that is the current plan. I still think your best bet is to potentially move out, E11 the sniper, move back in, and then next turn worry about barbecuing things. In which case you play push. And I think you'll see, ooh, reckless diversion could be pretty bad though. Yeah, there's not... The problem is baiting means that you're going to lose an activation, and with how few that Ripa has, there's not much you can do. I think moving the sniper out here definitely is not a good thing, because yeah, you're going to see the I think the Stormtroopers are going to move, or Snowtroopers, excuse me. Going to peekaboo out, take out the sniper, move back in, and then next turn they can worry about going out and barbecuing. Leia is still saving grace. She can tear down that entire Snowtrooper unit really easily. And yeah, Han has to play Reckless Diversion, but where is he going to put it? That's the question. There's not many good options, especially if Chewie eats it. Then you're really in trouble. I think you're right, Biggins. I think you're right. And it looks like he is positioning them, I don't want to say as bait, but as... I mean, saving the sniper at this point is going to be completely ineffective. That Z6 is going to be more useful than the sniper. So this Snowtrooper unit has themselves a fantastic choice of targets. And I think moving him here means that he's now within range 1. Ah, I see. He's putting him on standby. I get it. I see what he's doing. Well, if he draws the sniper instead, he could potentially... Oh, and he draws Veers. So Veers can be a spoiler here, because Veers can roll out and put shots on Dark Blue here if he chose to. And that would remove their suppression. Or not suppression, their standby. However, he can also aim. Giving him to both the snipers. Oh, so he's basically going to hope that he could draw the snipers first. It's kind of the game plan. Draw the snipers, take off the standby, and then use the Snowtroopers to barbecue. And with his improvised orders that he hasn't used yet, he has 4 left. Yeah, so he has Boba Fett, 2 snipers, and a troop. So you can almost guarantee he won't see that troop until he wants to. And with Leia moving now, she might be able to get in a position... Well, she could give a dodge. That could help out. It won't help against the snipers, but it will help out against the flamethrower. Currently, it doesn't see anybody. Looks like she might be looking to make a mad charge and hope that her health pool sustains it. Because they're at 36 minutes left. So now you're looking at the case of potential timing out as well, in which still Luke is ahead. I think at this point, Ripa's back is against the wall, and he's trying to look for any potential thing to be used to help him. And getting a body into the zone is better than nothing. Double moving Leia. Pulling the snipers that he wanted to pull. Likely you'll see Blue back up just enough to take a shot at Dark Blue there. We'll see if that is indeed what he does. Or he might use White and try and do the same thing. It looks like he's going to do White first. Alright, keeping his suppression doesn't really make that much of a difference though. Gonna hop up and over the sandbags and get, I suppose, just the angle he needs. Nope, looks like he's gonna get right here and target potentially the other sniper. I do not know where the line is for these guys. I'll have to do some guesswork here. Ooh, so yeah, it looks like that line would put it, the black line would be right about here. Alright, 2 shots going into the sniper. Should be, that's all he needs. Clears another activation with that one. Killing off a sniper. Trooper unit. I believe this is a dead trooper unit. And another dead trooper unit. And another dead trooper unit. And then a sniper unit. So far the sniper war has been pretty irrelevant, I think. The snipers have been used against other targets. Or should have been at least used against other targets. There was a little bit of sniper on sniper duel here. It was meh. This sniper, the blue sniper, obviously being used to clear off a lot of blue troopers and red troopers, or gray troopers. Not really touching these snipers here because they were deployed way over here originally, so they've been doing nothing but moving. These snipers over here, I don't know if they've really done a lot either. It seems as though that the sniper war has been kind of in favor of Luke, even though Ripa's snipers are kitted out pretty heavily. And I think Ripa is suffering the same problem I've suffered, which is you have too many points invested in your snipers for not a lot of return. So taking an aim shot at what looks like the teal trooper way over there, the one dude that you can see, with his leg poking out. Better rollout, despite the wrong dice. Gets that one model. But adding another suppression, which is important, because that's now 3 on Teal, and Teal doesn't have a commander near them. Range 3 to Teal is a little bit shaky at best. Do you improvised orders here to try and get blue first? I think the answer is yes. I think you improvised orders. You can move out so that you only see her. That is an option. Viewers can move. Depends on when people activate where. That is correct. So it looks like he is going to activate these guys. Looks like he's going to be willing to take the Z6 shot and hope for the best. I still think you should have improvised orders at try and get the sniper to have him roll down and put a shot on these guys to remove their standby. There's going to be a lot of Z6 shots coming in. Going to be through light cover. But it's going to be a barbecue unit with whatever survives. They took a dodge as an action to try and mitigate a little bit of the incoming fire. So how does this work? Steady is after you may... Okay, yeah, so no, you would be able to interrupt it with the standby. Because if it had said immediately, that would be a different story. Then you probably wouldn't be able to interrupt it with the standby. Choice of targets. Likely the blue troopers are the best ones. Standby goes first. So it's going to be a full Z6 squad against the Stormtroopers here. Or Snow Troopers, rather. Looks like they're doing a little bit of debate as to the timing of it, but I believe they are... The Z6 should get their shots in, because it's a free action that they're granted by the movement. It's not an immediate reaction, whereas the standby is a reaction. Yep, Kodak agrees with me. That's all I need to know. Yep, there we go. They're getting it right. Into light cover. Getting 5 hits coming in. So it's going to be 4. And he'll be able to dodge one of them, so we'll put it down to 3. Luke looking for saves here, but his luck has been terrible so far. And he eats 2. Still not terrible. That is a fair trade, as he's going to likely barbecue that unit. However, he did lose 2 troopers in the process, probably needlessly, as he could have potentially activated the sniper first to try and remove it. That said, look for 5 blacks and 2 reds. Ignoring cover. And with an aim. Wow, 6 hits. 6 saves on 5 models. And saving only 1. So that entire unit that just killed 2 Snow Troopers is now gone. So another activation killed this round from Luke. Passing his aims back to the sniper units here. I think at this point you're basically using the sniper to ping Chewbacca even more. Ripperonis from Larry Lauber. Ripperonis, indeed. Alright, so pulling the snipers, I think you're going to see the sniper aim and fire at Chewie. I think that's your best bet, to just put another wound on Chewbacca, make it even easier for Boba Fett to kill him. And yes, that is 7 wounds on Chewie. I say you do it. And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Gonna aim and fire. Yep, Boba Fett is going last, so likely you'll see Boba Fett here get that final blow on Chewie, putting him on stims. Potentially going over his stims. So I believe 3 rerolls here. And that should be a wound on Chewie. Which is exactly what he wants. Now Boba Fett going. Jumping into his heavy terrain. I think you take the risk from Han. Han won't kill you. If anything, sets him up for a whipcord next turn as well. Ooh, only has range to Chewie with his carbine, which is fine. Because then he can also shoot Han. Alright, so shooting Chewie with the carbine. We have Hunter activated here. So you're going to see an extra aim. 2 aims if he needs it. Looks like he will need it. Well, the Hunter first, obviously. Deciding not to bother because he's already going into stims. Puts 2 wounds on Han. Han having to save these 2. Failing. Now going to reroll with Reckless Diversion. Or not Reckless Diversion. Uncanny Luck. Blocks both. Thanks to rockets not being a thing. Not having any pierce. Han just takes the suppression. Likely we'll see Han get whipcorded next turn. Chewie on stims currently. So Chewie will likely die next turn. As there's no medics left. Chewie kind of without the options here. Yeah, I think you're going to see whipcord here come out. Because that way Han is basically immobilized. What he could do is jump forward, whipcord him, and then jump back roughly to here. They can only jump once. But this is open, so you can then move back in behind here. So you can whipcord him, and then move back if we so chose to. Looks like Rip is trying to decide what to do card-wise. I think Reckless Diversion is a must. However, who do you recklessly divert? I mean, because Han's going to be face-up. I guess you could do the snipers, but even then, Han is still exposed. And Han can take shots from this DLT squad here. I again think Boba Fett's going to whipcord. I think that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin with this game. Because right now, all we have left are 2 troopers here, Leia here, snipers, and we see change of plans instead of push. Ooh, interesting. So baiting with push instead of change of plans, because that was likely going to be used to stop whipcord. Now he has to decide if he wants him to keep push, which still beats it, and allows Boba Fett to go first or be activated whenever he so chooses. And it looks like, indeed, he's taking it, so now you're going to likely see whipcord at this point. Good bait with the push. Good bait. F to pay respects. Sorry about the mess being played against whipcord. Sorry about the mess allowing Han to go first, obviously. He's going to get an aim and a dodge. which means Chewie should also effectively get an aim and a dodge. Who will activate first? Will he draw from the stack or not? That said, again, Ripas doesn't have a lot left. You have snipers, troopers, Leia, Han, Chewie, snipers. And he draws a sniper unit, likely trying to get Chewie out there, potentially. Instead, he draws a sniper unit. Snipers could fire at Boba Fett, do some damage. These snipers can fire at the snowtroopers. That is an option. Potentially taking out one or two, because it is light covered, that would be reduced. Which then allows Leia to just come around and start spamming fire. Instead, deciding to go with these troopers here. Taking an aim and an attack. Looking like they might be shooting Boba, which they are. In heavy down to light. Looking for crits. Gets a hit. Gets the ability to reroll those, so potentially into a second hit, which would be damage. Does get a crit. So, 2 saves, needing 2 blocks. Boba Fett taking a wound and a suppression. Alright, drawing Veers. Interesting. Veers can get out Spotter, which would be nice. He can also remove that suppression off Boba Fett if he's worried about it. He doesn't have enough to kill Boba. Chewbacca could get lucky. Han could get lucky, and that could kill Boba Fett. He would need to put everything into Boba Fett, though. Instead, he improvised orders it, getting a core unit. Will he go with the Stormtroopers first, or will he go with Teal? If he goes Stormtroopers, what he could do is fire at Leia, and then move, fire at Leia, move to charge her, thus wrapping her up completely, ignoring the fact that... Or he could move, flame these troopers, move back into combat with Leia. That is an option as well. Provided he can get close enough for it. I think worst comes to worst, you're always going to want to end with in contact of Leia. I think that's the end result. I don't think they're going to have range 1 to those troopers, which is fine. Still think you flame Leia and then charge her to prevent her from doing anything. So Ripas could get lucky here. Before Chewie dies, he could likely fire everything into Boba Fett, potentially knocking him onto stems. Looks like he's just trying to get some E11 shots off into these troopers. In the open. Should be 3. I don't know why he's only taking 2. And hits nothing. Instead, it looks like his next turn is going to be to charge Leia, like I projected. Yep. Alright, and we see Ripas pull out his trooper token. Last remaining troopers over here. They're going to move and charge the no troopers, or they might move past them and fire at the sniper. Oh, they're going to double move. attempting to potentially get into a position to score. At this point, well, even then it might not be great. There's still so much that can fire at them. It's just the problem of so little activations left. Alright, so moving into the sandbag area. Looking like Boba Fett's going to activate. Trying to clear off the Wookiee before he even activates. Firing his carbine at him. Getting a crit. Still has his hunter. Nope, and he does take him out. Firing at Han, getting both. Nothing with the first one. Uncanny luck time. Nothing there. So Han taking 2. And now you have the option for him to go up and hit him with the whipcord. Alternatively, he can run away and get out of range of Han. Boba Fett securing the bounty at this point. And now Luke firmly in the lead. Looks like rolling some suppression away. Han moving forward, making a mad dash for the end zone, it looks like. However, in doing so, if these Stormtroopers rally even one away, or if Veers can get close enough to him, they can tie up Han. Turn after turn after turn, tar pitting him. And it looks like they're going to call it. Wow. I'll give him the option for a quick interview. Looks like they're calling it in favor of Luke here, with his Skittle party in the center. I will go ahead and hop into their channel here, and we'll see what's up with them. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey there, chat.
Well, thank you for letting us stream and watch your game. It does look like it is going to be Luke pulling out the victory there due to the concession from Ripa. Yeah, so I guess first off, that was a wild swing. At first I had thought that you had it in the bag, Ripa, especially after that coordinated bombardment.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, what is Luke thinking by putting all his troopers there in the center? It looked like just a giant bag of Skittles was poured out there. So I guess we'll start with you. What was your plan by putting everything there and leaving that rear flank completely exposed? Luke?
Sorry, it breaks out for me.
No worries. I was asking what was the point of putting everything right there in the center and leaving the entire back bracket of L open?
I figured, well, first, all it was key.
You're breaking up for me.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad.
It's wall, the real thing. Was just hiding everything.
So to summarize, basically the entire plot was...
And then...
I guess we're going to go ahead and say summarize it for Luke. Apparently he was trying to hide everything from the get-go, so that way it prevented a lot of early engagements.
So, like, if he masses troops over here, then I could just break through this side, or if he did this side, I could just go the opposite way.
Gotcha.
So it kind of forced him to split up his troops. Then I can just focus one way or the other, and just kind of keep rolling over.
Makes sense. So initially your plan seemed to work out really well for you, Ripa, with your coordinated bombardment wiping out a good chunk of troops and then being able to position stuff in the heavy terrain, setting them on standby, preventing any sort of movement from the south. What would you have changed differently? Because I think at the get-go, it was a pretty solid plan. The only thing that I disagreed with was the snipers being deployed back in the back corner, other than to prevent the troops being dropped. So what would you change... Besides dice, obviously. What would you change now?
I think first mistake was letting breakthrough through. I think I really shouldn't have done that. That was really bad. But the way I have been playing this army, Luke's army, or anything similar that much lately, and well, the way I have playing the army is playing for the late game points, right?
Yep.
So I don't have to rush, because usually, because of Chewie and Leia's bombardment, early long range game, I usually have it better than any Imperial player. I just didn't want to give him intercept the transmissions, because I really think he an advantage there.
Mm-hmm.
That I couldn't eliminate breakthrough. I also didn't want to give him disarray. I think Boba Fett is a master of disarray. I don't know if you agree, Luke.
Yeah, disarray is okay. I usually put just a sniper team in the other corner, though.
Yeah. Boba Fett also benefits from aim tokens and all. But yeah, I would change a lot, actually. I think I made some really bad mistakes there. After a very good first round, advantage, and it just didn't work out. I think the deep strike unit was really not that well placed. I should have placed them behind this building, in a greedy way, and that could have cost me the game. If I didn't lose that unit, I wouldn't need to play that aggressively.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I was questioning, was why you put the deep strike units so far forward. I figured it was to help support things in the center, but I was also tempted that if you put it back in the end zone, that you could just keep it safe the entire time. However, that's a unit that's just never going to be used the entire game. So it was the pros and cons to each side. You needed the firepower, however, the victory point might have helped, but in the end, I don't know if it would have probably paid off in the same result, because Luke had the counter deployment shortly after you deployed yours.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Overall, it was a great game between you two. I'm going to go ahead and get to eat dinner. I'm starving. I'm sure you guys are as well, because it was a 6 o'clock game for you all, maybe a 7 o'clock for you over in Brazil.
It's 10 p.m. now, so we're going to have some dinner over here. Yep.
Well, still well played. Thank you for letting me stream. Everybody else, it looks like we have more games coming up tomorrow. I'll quickly pull that up. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, we have Kingsley, and we have Nikki versus Finn, that game. And then Tuesday at 8 o'clock, we have Endless hosting Kingsley versus Orc. So one question was from Biggins, though, before I let you go. Why did you not use Esteemed on Han for something?
To kill off Chewie.
I was going to say the problem was any damage that went from Han would go to Chewie and kill him off, though. Oh, to kill off Chewie. Okay, I get it. To use Han's damage to kill off Chewie, but I don't think Han took any damage from any troopers, though.
No, he only took damage from Boba.
Yeah, so it still claimed the bounty regardless.
I was... if I could have pulled Chewie's token there before...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At that point, the game was already lost. I great luck on some rolls. I need to have 3 units over here still to get one of them through. 3 support here to get some of these troopers off. Yeah, it was really bad at that point. Yeah.
Well, you still played a great game. You guys made it through the Elite Eight. It's farther than I made it, so good on you guys. Luke advancing into the Final Four. Sadly, Ripa is going to join me on the couch for the rest of the season.
And maybe I can negotiate some co-streaming if you have me for some of the games.
I'm sure we can fit some people in. I certainly love a co-host. I know others don't, but we'll see who's available and when. In the meantime, everyone else, thanks for coming out, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Again, tune in to Kingsley, and then Tuesday, tune in to Endless. I'll be sure to post those in the chat. So thanks, everybody. I will go ahead and actually raid a dude that I absolutely love to watch. He is not doing anything Star Wars related. He's actually doing Final Fantasy VII. So I'll go ahead and raid him. And in the meantime, thanks, everybody, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, good game, Reaper.
Yeah, congrats, Luke.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya, everybody.
See ya.
And that should raid him properly. And then I will disconnect my end.